Hello, I'm Ainsley from A Mama with Trauma, and today on this episode, I think I wanted to talk about my red flags that started to be indicators of me needing to start therapy. Excuse me. As a disclaimer, this page is not a page of me, a person seeking vengeance towards any of the people who have caused me harm. I am not putting this out there to destroy anyone's life or speak against anyone who has harmed me. This is simply a way for me to express and communicate and hear some of the things that I need to hear and have heard have heard. So like I go back and watch these videos and just to see what's inside and what I'm navigating reflected back to me, in hopes that what I share and the lessons that I've experienced through my motherhood, through trauma, through basically everything that I've been navigating and I've gone through, that maybe one day it could help somebody and make people feel less alone. So yeah. There's so many things that I just want to talk about and just say, but I also recognize that this page is a way for me to kind of slowly unpack my life. And when I do these videos and I go back and watch them, they are helping me connect to some part of me even deeper inside that I have a very difficult time connecting to by myself, in like my own work, and sometimes even in like talk therapy. Doing videos like this is a way for me to like look at myself and be honest with what my thoughts are and the difficulties of navigating my thoughts and feelings and all of that stuff. So please bear with me, as I'm sure some of these videos will be a little messy and not make a bunch of sense and might be me rambling. But I think that that's kind of what I need to see reflected, is a human. I very rarely find myself identifying as a human. That's one of the things, my abuse and trauma, the environment I grew up in was that I was not ever treated as a person. I was treated as an object. I was very much groomed and manipulated, and very much had small spaces that I could operate in. And if those boxes and those boxes, the space, it changed depending on my mom's mood that day. I may have had a lot more space one day, and then the next day, for no reason other than her own whim, the space to operate in may have become smaller. And being in a home like that, the erratic behavior of being in a big or small nothing was consistent. There was a lot of the person that she was and displayed outside of the home was totally different. Totally different compared to the person that she was in the actual home. And there were so many things that I went through, being able to talk or communicate or even being able to use my voice. That's another reason why I do these videos, is to literally actually hear myself speak this stuff out loud. And most of it, I do these and make these videos. Cool, yes. I'm putting it on YouTube and some other people might find it, but ultimately it's because I need to hear myself say these truths, like say these crazy things, like, man, this was my life. I lived this stuff on a daily basis, and it's so hard to grasp sometimes because the magnitude of it and how many levels and how confusing it is just like, how am I here? Like, I genuinely ask myself that sometimes, like, how are you here? And because I would have ended my existence multiple times if it wasn't for, I don't know, just like this still part of me, this small part of me believing and like all knowing that my existence mattered, that there was a purpose to it, though I never saw it or found it in the home or the space that I grew up in. I never saw me reflected. Like, there was no space for me, and that does something to a person's mind and belief about them. And it's heartbreaking, but also it's very real. Like, this was my life for so many years. To be honest, I'm about to be 39. It's March, and I'm 2023, and I'm about to be 39. And the last exchange I had with my mom was of September, or maybe it was October 2021, and my extended family, like, I went around and checked in with everybody, and I was like, hey, this is where I'm at. Are you okay with this? Are you okay with me and what I'm asking? And like, no one was. Everyone was like, we don't agree with what you're doing, just the way you're treating your mom and all this kind of stuff. I got accused of elderly abuse against my grandma, like wild things, just wild things. And so it's like that was September, October of 2021. So it's been a year of me being out of contact with them. And yeah, so that's like 38 years of being in contact with people who knew about my harm, knew well about the abuse that my mom did to me, and never just just chalked it up. And like, it's a lot of undoing. It's a lot of undoing and a lot of like questioning and a lot of doubt and a lot of confusion. And in that like still being a parent, you know, like I wonder it. Well, I can't wonder. I know I wouldn't be here if I hadn't had my child. I would never have even gone down this path. I would never have started examining myself. I would have never saw the red flags that started literally like flaring up like fireworks. Like all I saw was red when I had my daughter, and like we were like, I didn't know any better, so I was operating in a space where she had access to my daughter, and that's when like all of these red flags started going up in my body. Like my mind couldn't even release any information. It was my physical body responding to seeing my mom interact with my child. And I was so confused. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but my body's like doing things. And I confronted her a couple times, and she was very, very defensive and very vehement. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. This is you. Like, these are your issues and blah, 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 blah. And again, I was in the point of like, everything was my fault. And I just, you know, like, just went with that. I'm like, okay, so I'll just accept responsibility for this. It's my fault or whatever. But I just couldn't let go of the fact that my physical body was doing things that I didn't have an answer for, and that was alarming to me. And I'm like, I gotta do something. I can't be a mom to my child the way that I really truly feel I need to parent her and have you in my life, because it's too much. I mentally can't, and physically I can't handle it. I cannot handle this chaos. It's like, either I'm not going to be able to be a mom to this child, and it's going to go bad very quickly, and my child is going to like suffer so badly for it, which that's the last thing I would ever want, is my child to suffer as I had suffered. Like, just thinking about that is just like wrecks me. And so, you know, I made these choices and decisions to keep pulling myself and my daughter and me back from them. And I got so much shit for it. Even my husband was very unsupportive, and he's like, didn't really agree with what I was doing. And because she's good at what she does, my mom is good at what she does, the language she uses, she can wrap someone around her finger in a heartbeat. She's very good, but I am her only daughter, and I know very well, more than anybody on this earth, what she is capable of doing. And I know I've literally had a front row center live performance of her show, of her spectacle, my whole life. I literally watched her life's production of what she's capable of doing. And I just couldn't be around that. And recognizing so many red flags. And I think the thing that was very like, once I started this process of trying to heal and get better, that there were so many layers to this. One being, there were red flags of people and that were in, like, around me, like other people. And I knew I couldn't change them. I could not change them. I just had to learn how to, like, use the language to articulate what I was seeing. But the thing that I think I noticed the most was in myself was my own red flags that I had inherited and I had carried, and that if I didn't stay diligent and focused on this road to recovery, that and healing and just becoming whole and understanding myself, that I was going to repeat everything, even though I had moved away, and even though I've gotten away and I'm not around that, and I've recognized other people's behaviors, my behaviors were still inside of me, my own red flags, the things that I had learned, the traits and behaviors and techniques I had learned to survive this horrific experience were things that I didn't necessarily need to be teaching my child. They were my own red flags. And it takes a certain type of person to be able to be willing to turn around and look at one's self and one's own red flags and say, this is the problem. Not all of them. They caused this. They helped cause this. But at some point, I have to become accountable and grab the reins of this perpetual poison. And I have to gain control over it. And I have to figure out what tools and abilities and skills I have inside of me innately that have been buried very, very deeply. Find them and cultivate them and build trust within, so I can get rid of these red flags, that I can recognize them, that I can hear them, that I can become so sensitive to my own triggers and thoughts, patterns, and behaviors, and say, no, that is a red flag. No, this is a red flag. Is that a red flag? I don't. And honestly, the person who's been the most helpful in that is my child. My child's natural inclination to shine her little bright light on me, to activate those red flags, and to be in a place of, like, yes, this is a red flag. I'm not going to respond to you because you're stirring this up, but I'm going to, like, hold this and say, I need to come back to this and look at this and find out why I have that. What's it from? Who did this? What does this say about me? What do I believe? And unpeel it. And I want to hear that this is doable. I want to hear that no matter how painful and confusing it is, that